Hey, what's going on, everybody in the GHL Mastery group? Oh, 1 second, I misfired there. All right. Renee asked an awesome question inside the GHL Mastery free group on Facebook. So if you are watching this on YouTube, find the link below and join the group because we do stuff like this all the time. If you've got awesome questions, sometimes even simple ones, we're going to show you how to do them. And Renee's question is kind of a twofold question. So we're going to cover a couple of really important topics, primarily reputation management. How do you build kind of the ultimate review structure? But she also asked a very important question about drip mode. So I'm going to show you two different tricks to add a bulk list of contacts into drip mode so that you don't get your accounts kind of shut down and all of that sort of stuff. So this is going to be a slightly longer video than the standard 12 to 14 minutes videos that I usually do. So stick around. We're going to cover a lot of topics, and starting with how do you even connect a Google My Business profile to get Google reviews. And then I'm also going to talk about the difference between standard reputation management that you have options with inside of GoHighLevel, and then the way that I like to do it and why. So there's going to be a bunch of stuff in this video. So stick with me. And if you are watching this live, please let me know that you are watching it live, because I love knowing that people are actually watching this stuff. I get a lot of comments on YouTube and on Facebook after the fact, but if you're watching it live, let me know, give me some love. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe, because that obviously will help other GoHighLevel users get access to my content and learn how to do some of this stuff on their own. So with that being said, let's get into it. Let's actually just start with the absolute basics. So you want to get your clients' Google My Business profile connected to the account so that you can start to use the reputation management functions. So the first thing that you've got to do is you've got to go into settings. You've got to go into integrations. They need to link their Google account to the sub account, because their Google account is going to be the one that owns and controls and manages the Google My Business profile. If you are a GMB admin or manager on their profile, you can also do this with your own email address. But just so you know, that whoever owns or manages the GMB profile has to have their Gmail account integrated first. Now, typically when you do this, you'll automatically get a pop-up that says, add which GMB location. In this case, I skipped that step when I did that. So I'm just going to go through this step right here, and we're going to select my marketing business GMB location. I'm going to turn off call tracking. The reason that I turn this off is because if this is on and you have a Twilio number in your sub account, it's automatically going to replace their default call number on their GMB. So that's obviously going to be used for call tracking, missed call, text back, and that type of stuff. So if that is something that your client wants, you're definitely going to want to turn that on, but they also need to be aware that that's going to replace the click to call number on their Google My Business profile. So just be aware of that. I'm going to go grab my account right here, and we're going to connect it. All right. So once the Google My Business profile is connected, you can now go into the reputation management settings right here. And obviously set this stuff up. I'm not going to do it for the purposes of this video. I will turn it on though, because I do want to show you guys a couple of different ways that you can do this. Now, what you want to do is you want to click here and you want to generate link. This is going to give you a new Google My Business review link. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this, and I'm going to grab that link and I'm going to copy it. Now, I'm mentioning that there's two different ways to do this. This link right here that you're seeing is going to be the default link that gets sent out with these emails and these text messages. I actually, full transparency, I do not use this method. And the reason that I don't use this method is because I can't track if somebody clicked on this link or not, which for me is a problem, because if I want to tell my clients that, hey, you sent this to 1,000 people and 750 people clicked, 25 or 250 didn't, I won't be able to do that with this method because the links are not trackable using the standard reputation management functionality. Now, there is a way around that, which I'll try to get into. And like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a longer video because there's a lot of stuff to cover. But anyways, we're going to grab this link, or alternatively, you can get your client to send you their Google review link that they have in their Google Business Profile settings. I'm going to grab this link. I create a custom value for this, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. Google Google review link. So I'm going to go and I'm going to edit this and I'm just going to paste that link right in there. And that's going to give us a custom value for the Google reviews. And the reason that I do this is because if you want to rinse and repeat this and do this over and over and over again for different clients, having this custom value here allows you to do that really, really simply. And again, this will all make sense when I show you kind of my method for reputation management. So now I'm going to actually take this custom value and I'm going to copy it. So let's just do a quick copy. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to conversations and I'm going to go to trigger links. And we're going to create a trackable link off of this custom value. And again, that just allows you to update the custom value and then have a dynamic custom value as your trigger link. So that's why we do that. So we've covered how to connect the GMB profile. We've covered how to get the Google review link and adding it to a trigger link so that we can actually track what happens here. Now, this is kind of where the twofold stuff starts to come in. Let's go and start a workflow. Let's go into automation and create a workflow. I'm just going to start this from scratch so that you guys can see how this works. So let's go ultimate review campaign. So typically you don't, if you're going to add contacts from the contacts page and you're going to do that in drip mode, you don't actually need a trigger for this. But one thing that I have done in the past is when I add a bulk list of contacts, I will automatically add a tag because these people are supposed to get sent a review. The thing to be aware of when you do that is that if you add a tag or you add them to a workflow from the bulk actions, adding contacts to your CRM, it's going to add them all at the same time. So if you've got a list of 2,500 people, which is what Renee said she had, all 2,500 of them are going to get added to this workflow at the same time. And that's going to send out 2,500 text messages and 2,500 emails. And that just overall, especially if this is a brand new account, is just a bad idea. That's a great way to get your Twilio number blocked as spam. And that's a great way to just kill your email score with the LC email and or mailgun. So what we actually want to do is we want to split this up a little bit so that it doesn't all get sent at once. And I'm going to show you a trick that Richard Worley actually taught me just a couple of weeks ago. So I have to give this guy complete credit for this. This is not my own. I didn't figure this out, but he showed me and now I use it all the time. So I got to give him credit where credit is due. This is an absolutely brilliant strategy for this. So let's just say the tag, we're going to add a tag. So we're going to do a contact tag is what's going to be the trigger to get them in here. Tag added, and we're going to do review request, send review request. I already have the tag. How convenient. Now, I always do this because I want things to be clean. So send review request. And we're going to hit save. So that is the current trigger to get people into this workflow. Now, again, assuming you've got a list of 2,500 people, well, you don't want all 2,500 people getting this message all at the same time. So here is the brilliance of Richard Worley in play right here. We're going to do number formatter. And this is a premium action, so there is going to be a cost to this. I don't know exactly what the cost is, but it's pretty smart. So we're going to go and we're going to pick a random number. Now you can do this however you want. I would recommend doing like a 1 to 10 range. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to do a 1 to 3 so that you guys can understand the concepts behind it. Just so you know, we're going to be doing an if statement here. And if you use if statements, the maximum number of conditions you can have is 10. So you would have to do this multiple times if you wanted to have a wider range, and you'll understand what that looks like in just a second. So we're going to do, for the purposes of this, we're going to do 1 to 3, but you can do this as many as you want. Now we're going to create an if else statement right here. We're going to go if else, and we're just going to say this is number 1. We're going to go and we're going to grab the number formatter, and we're going to pick the result is equal to, is equals 1. We're going to add another branch, and we're going to do 2, and we're going to say, going to do the same thing. So number formatter result is equal to 2, and so on and so forth. You'll see why this is going to make sense in just a second here. Number formatter is equal to 3. So now we've got multiple conditions based on what number the contact was assigned when they came in. So again, this is a way that you can add 1,000 contacts to a workflow without having to do it in drip mode, so that you don't forget to do stuff. You can also add them in drip mode. It really doesn't matter. I just thought this was a clever idea, so I figured I would show you how to do this. Now, if they get assigned to the number 1, we're not going to wait. We're just going to send them an SMS, right? So we're going to send them a review request SMS. Now, what I like to do is I like to ask for feedback first. So this message, and again, don't judge me for my typing. Whenever I'm doing this live, I suck at it. But this message is basically going to be a feedback request. So it's like, thanks for using our services. We would love your feedback on how we did. Please respond 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 to let us know how we did. So that's kind of the first message that we're going to send here. So let's go feedback first. Now with step number 2 and step number 3, what we're actually going to do here is add a wait step. So we're going to wait however long you want to wait. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to do 5 minutes and 10 minutes. So it's going to get sent out basically every 5 minutes. Actually, would probably be better off if we did 5 minutes and then we do wait for, let's say, like 30 minutes. Doesn't really matter. You can kind of figure this out on your own. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to we're going to add the go to step and we're going to go to the feedback. And we're going to do this on both sides. All right, let's hit save. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a wait for reply step here. So we're going to go wait for, and we're going to do wait for a contact reply, and we're going to ask for a reply to feedback. I would give this a timeout of maybe like an hour. So wait 1 hour for response and hit save. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add another if condition here. So we're going to add a couple of them. So we're going to say negative review for the first branch, and that is going to be that the customer replied message contains 1. We're going to add an or, and we're going to do customer reply message contains 2. And we're also going to do replied message contains 3. So what this is going to do effectively is if they reply 1, 2, or 3, we don't want them to get a review request because we don't want negative reviews on Google. Some people call this review gating, which is sort of true, but it's also not against the rules with Google. So I did check, and now we're going to do positive. So we're going to consider a positive response anyone who replies 4 or 5. So we're going to do contact reply, replied message is or contains should work here. Obviously, we're trying to get them to respond a certain way. So we're going to do the next one. Contact replied message is. Now, you know what? Contains makes more sense because they might add a little bit more to it and still include the number. So there we go. We're going to do this. And actually, I need to backtrack and I need to apologize because I did something wrong here. When you do a condition like this, where it's this or this, what's going to happen is it's going to look at the first one. And if the first one is incorrect, it's going to actually fail. It's going to go down the wrong route. So what you actually need to do for this branch, and I should have done this up here as well. So my bad. Let's try to delete this. The new workflow builder is giving me heck. Holy cow. All right, I'm just going to show you how to do this. Add segment. And then we're going to change this to an or. And then that's going to be your customer replied contains 5. Now, obviously, I don't know why this is happening, but it's not letting me delete that. So that's super annoying, but that's how you would do this. And basically what that's going to do is that this is going to look first to see if the reply was 4. If the reply wasn't 4, it's going to see is it 5. Whereas if you have this structure right here, it's going to look for the first option. And if that is incorrect, it's going to just say, "Nope, that's wrong. This one didn't pass," and it's going to move on. So we've been playing around with this a bunch, and this is what we figured out solves that problem. So that's how you're going to do that. So now you've got your new conditions down here. Was it a negative review? Was it a positive review? And then this is kind of going to be a catch-all. The other thing that you can do here is you can add another branch just to kind of try to catch all. So no keyword response, right? Because every now and then you're dealing with real people that are going to respond in real ways. And sometimes this isn't going to work when you try to do it this way. So we're actually just going to do contact replied is true, but it doesn't have a keyword response. And I want to make sure that everybody understands this. When you do conditions, what it is going to do is it's going to check this condition first. If this condition fails, it's going to check this condition next. If this condition fails, it's going to do this condition. So what that means is that because we have the no keyword response, so contact replied is true. Well, technically, the contact would have replied in all three of these. So no matter what, if we put the last option as the contact replied equals true, it's going to go down one of these two paths if they reply with the keyword, and otherwise it's going to go down this path. So just to make sure that that is very, very clear there. And then the none path is going to wait for our timeout. And if our timeout for contact reply and they don't reply within an hour, it's going to go down the none route because they didn't reply, they didn't use a keyword. So now we're going to do the none route. So now that we've got a negative review, I'm not going to do a whole lot on this side. We're just going to say, sorry, you had a bad experience. What could we do better next time? Something like that. Now, if they reply positively, now we actually want to ask them for the review. And there's two ways of doing it. I'm going to show you both in this video, hence the fact that it's going to be a little bit longer. I'm going to show you the standard way to do it. And that would be to just go and find your review requests. And you can send a review request via SMS. And I always just label that like so. And then you can send a review request via email at the same time. So that's typically how you would do it with this. Now, the benefit of doing it this way is that your pretty little reputation management dashboard will get populated with the review requests that you sent, the reviews that came back. It'll actually, this is really confusing to me. It'll show you the review links clicked or reviews opened, but you cannot trigger anything off of those inside a workflow, which is the reason that I don't like to use this method. Because again, I like to track as much as I possibly can when it comes to anything I'm doing. So is this actually being effective? So what I actually typically would do is set up a pipeline for this. So it's a review request sent, negative feedback, positive feedback, review confirmed, or no response. It's kind of how I would set up the pipeline for that. But this is how you would send a typical GoHighLevel review. But again, just to reiterate, if they click on a link, I don't know about it. And so I don't like to do it this way. I use my method, which I'm going to show you next, to actually track what's going on and what's happening within that reputation management workflow. So I'm going to delete all actions from here, and I'm going to do it my way. So we're just going to send another text message and say, thank you for the positive feedback. We would love it if you would be willing to give us a review on Google. Then you can say, click here to say, if you're able. And then we're going to go and we're going to grab our Google review trigger link. So why do we use a trigger link? Well, because we can track a trigger link. So that's why we do a trigger link. We're going to hit save action here. We're going to label this send review request. Now what we're going to do, and this is kind of where we can start to track kind of what's going on. So as I mentioned with the pipeline stages, and I haven't created them for this video, but what I would do here is actually right up at the top, I would update the opportunity and I would do review request sent. That would be stage number one. If they go down this negative review path, I would update the opportunity to a negative review. If they go down this path, or I would say negative response because they haven't actually given a review. If they go down the positive response path, I would then update it to a positive response. It's still not a review yet because they haven't actually done it. Now we can go to the if else. Sorry. Yeah, we're going to do a wait step here. And we are going to now wait for a trigger link being clicked. And we're going to go and we're going to select our Google review link. I would recommend giving this a timeout and give it a reasonable one. You don't want to be slamming them every 5 minutes, but let's do 30 for the purposes of this video. Wait 30 minutes for a link click. And then we're going to hit save. Now we're going to do an if else. Again, this is where it gets a little bit crazy. So link clicked is going to be the first one. And we're going to do events, trigger link clicked, trigger link is Google review link. So this is really all you need to do. And then we're going to hit save action here. Now, what I would do here, so all this means, so if this wait step, if they click the trigger link at any point in this wait step, they're just going to go down this route right here. So what I would usually do is I would add another wait step right here. And I would actually wait for, let's just give it a reasonable amount again of 20 minutes. That's going to give somebody plenty of time to actually leave a review. And then what we're going to do is we're actually just going to send them an SMS again, and we're going to try to confirm that they were able to leave a review successfully with Google. Just want to confirm you were able to leave the review. Question mark. And we're going to go again, wait for a response. This is where it gets a little bit crazy, people. Wait for contact reply step. I should have labeled that better. And then again, give it a reasonable timeout. We don't want to be bothering people too much, but wait 1 hour. And then we're going to go positive, negative response. So we're going to do an if else. Positive means they left a review or they said they were able to leave a review. Contact reply intent type is positive. And then the other one is obviously going to be a no. So we're going to do negative as well. Okay, and the reason that I added both of these is because we're doing the 1 hour wait for response. If they don't reply, we still want to have somewhere to go with it. So positive response, we would then update the opportunity and say review confirmed because they're telling us that they did write the review. If it's negative, we can send the link again. And if they don't reply, we can basically just copy all of this, copy all actions from here and move it down here and change this message and just send them again. Hey, don't want to pester you, but we saw that you clicked the link. Just wanted to make sure you were able to leave the review, something along those lines. Now let's go back up here a little bit. So send review request, wait 30 minutes for link click. Obviously, if they don't click the link, we want to send it again. Just say, hey, it would really mean the world to us if you'd leave us a review. And then you can basically go and repeat this whole structure here. Until they actually do click the link and then leave a review. So you can do the wait step until they do click the link and then move them over to here. And then you're kind of off to the races there. So this is a much longer video than I normally do, but this is kind of one way, and I hope the reasons why I do it this way made sense. At the end of the day, if I can't track somebody clicking a link, I can't tell my client the results that we're getting, that the messages are being delivered and that people are actually interacting with them. Whereas if I use trigger links and a workflow similar to this one, I can do that. And so that's why I do it. And hopefully that was helpful to all of you guys. If it was, again, please let me know in the comments. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. That would be amazing. And if you're in the Facebook group, let me know if you are watching this on the replay or if this added any value to what you're doing in any way, shape, or form. So this was a long one. This one was a bit of a mouthful. Hopefully it helped. And with that, we will see you guys on the next one. Take care.